Everybody, Dan Felico, right? Felico?
Yes.
Felico.
Dan Felico.
There you go. Dan Felico.
Well, hello everyone.
Hello. Hello.
My name's Dan. Nice to meet you. So, you guys actually put together some pretty good questions for me, so I thought I'd take some time to be able to answer some of those, because I know sometimes we don't always get to the questions, so happy to answer the questions. So, can you tell me a bit about your personal story? How far back do I need to go on that? I mean, born in Santa Clarita, well actually not Santa Clarita, but in California, Northridge actually. Family moved out here when I was like 5, so been out here for a good 30-something years. So Santa Clarita is definitely the hometown, that's for sure. I have 2 parents, still alive. I have a brother and a sister, still alive. I have a beautiful wife named Jordan. I have a daughter, Riley, she's 4 years old, and also have a 3-month-old, Willow. So that is my small family. And so, yeah, so been here for quite some time. Why did you become a lender? Well, I was working in the automotive field as a service advisor, and I was working for a local dealership out here, and it has got to be probably one of the most difficult things I had ever done. Every day in the back office, they're telling, you know, just, what are you doing? This is crazy. Like every day was just really, really difficult. And so, you know, you'd work 12 hours a day, 6 days a week. You're in at 7, you leave at 7. It was a lot. It was a lot of work. And so I had a friend, you know, come up to me and he's like, hey man, I'd like to introduce you to the mortgage business. And I said, okay, sure. What's that about? I don't know anything about mortgages, loans, anything. And he's like, I'll teach you the ropes, I'll get you into the business. Eventually you can become an entrepreneur where you're completely self-employed. And I thought, that sounds pretty good, but what's it pay? And he's like, $10 an hour. I'm like, that's crazy, I'm not doing that. But he's like, trust me, it'll pan out, it'll work well for you. So I said, okay, I'll give it a shot. So I started processing for him, you know, processing loans, you know, getting to know people over time. And eventually I was able to take on my own clients and eventually grow my own business. And I've opened up my own office now. And so I've had it now established for the last 5 years here in Valencia. So, so it's worked out well. But, you know, going from one industry, you tend to realize that sometimes things can be very, very difficult going one way and you don't really enjoy what you're doing. And so I think a lot of us do that same thing where we get into something else because we really want to do something that we enjoy. And I love the lending industry. I love talking to people. I love customer service. I love helping people accomplish their goals. And so, yeah, that's why I became a lender. What products and services would you recommend that benefit me? Well, I guess it's a matter of understanding exactly what it is that I do. So as a mortgage broker, I'm here to help you from start to finish get qualified for a home mortgage. And getting qualified for a home loan is not rocket science. You don't have to make $1 million a year, have a 900 credit score, or have, you know, $10 million in the bank. Lenders know that not everyone is going to have that type of, you know, situation. Typically, you know, you can qualify with a credit score as low as, you know, 580. Anita and I actually closed a transaction a few months ago where, you know, client only had a 590 credit score and she was able to put down 3.5% and she got an incredible rate of like 3.99. So, you know, you don't need immaculate credit to own a home. Some of the things that lenders look for is they want to make sure that you do have a 2-year well-established history in your business or your line of work. They, you know, again, have a minimum credit score requirement. Typically 580 is the lowest. As your credit score goes up, of course, your interest rate gets better. In terms of down payment, with a 640 credit score, you can typically qualify for 100% financing, so no money down. I've done lots of transactions where buyers are coming in with $2,000 and they're getting the keys to their house and they only have a 640 credit score. So it's very possible to get into a home with 100% financing where they finance the down payment and the closing costs and you get your keys. You know, pretty quick and simple. And so, yeah. So again, how can I benefit you? Well, Going through that process, I really try to make it as simple as stress-free as possible. Sometimes, you go in the front door of a bank or a lender and they'll just say, yeah, drop your application off at the door, we'll call you. And then they make it kind of difficult. You got to jump through a lot of hoops. There's a lot of red tape to go along. As a broker, I do a lot of the heavy lifting for you. So I'm working out those problems in the background you don't even know that are happening. I really try to take that stress level off of your plate so that it feels like, wow, that was pretty simple. That seemed pretty awesome. And so, and also I have about 50 different lenders that I work with so that I can shop your mortgage with, so you guys can get the best possible rate that's available to you. And so, whereas if you go into a lender or a bank or a credit union, they'll tell you there's one specific loan program. If we don't have it, it's nothing we can do for you. So you got to pick up all your paperwork and go over to the next bank and do the same thing over again. That's what I do, except I've got about 50 of those on a regular basis that I can talk to. Hey Byron, how's it going? Is it better to, actually here's another one. Who are your worst clients? That is a hilarious question. Who asked that? No, don't tell me. Don't tell me who asked that. My worst clients, I mean, I'm sure we've all had our handful of fun clients. I guess individuals that maybe micromanage or don't trust that you know what you're doing. And I'm sure we can all relate to that. It's like when you've agreed to work with someone, you think that they're going to trust you and what you tell them is going to be accurate and you're going to be able to help them. But when they don't trust everything that you're telling them, or it becomes difficult. So I guess trust is a big thing. And that's what I'm always here to do, is earn your guys' trust so that you can refer me and I can refer back to you, because I like you guys, I trust you guys. And so that should always be, coming and going very easily. So, is it better to have a great price or a great rate? So if you guys aren't familiar with what that means, great price is like a low cost or a no cost loan versus a great interest rate. So basically, if you're looking at two scenarios there, it just depends on your individual scenario. So for individuals that are maybe only going to stay in a home for 2 to 5 years, I'd recommend going with a lower cost loan, because for you to invest into that lower interest rate, you've got to make up that cost over time. So you don't want to spend, $10,000 to buy your rate down to get like, I've got a 2.5, and then you sell in a year. It just costs too much money to get it to there. You're not going to save enough over that time period to earn it back. But if you are planning on staying for a while, then absolutely, you'll save that money every month over time, and so it would be a good idea to have a better rate in that scenario. So it just depends on the situation. How long have you been working in your field? Got into the mortgage industry actually in 2004 and have been working in it ever since. So been there since that time. 2 minutes, okay. Where do you see rates later this year? So I actually don't have a DeLorean, so I have no idea what rates are going to look like in 2 years or a year from now. But it's kind of interesting because analysts and financial people all across the board 6 months ago were saying rates are going to be crazy high 6 months from now. You'll see they're going to be terrible. And if anyone's been watching the news or been looking at what's been happening in the industry, interest rates have actually been coming down consistently since December. They've been dropping and dropping and dropping and dropping. So it's really difficult to tell. What I always mention to people is, if you see a scenario that makes sense for you, if you're going to refinance your home and you want to take out cash or try to save money, look at that scenario, that picture right there, and say, does this make sense? Am I going to save enough? Then pull the trigger on it and don't wait. Because the future can always change things. Rates could get better, they could get a lot worse, and that savings could go right out the window. So I just always say, forget about what the media says and just look at your individual situation and see if you can help that. Okay, so wanted to leave it open for questions.
Yeah.
Yes?
Do you work with veterans and VA?
Absolutely, yes. Veterans are a good 50 to 60% of my business, actually. They do, veterans qualify for 100% financing. They also have programs where you can get all of your closing costs completely paid for, and they have the lowest rates that are available with no mortgage insurance. They have phenomenal programs available for veterans. So yeah, absolutely.
What was,
Yes.
go ahead. What was the credit, the score that you said
The minimum.
qualifies someone?
Yeah, typically the minimum credit score is about a 580 with a minimum down of like 3.5%. You can get into a home for a 500 credit score, but you need like 20, 30, 40% down. So if you can,
No down.
with no down, it's a 640.
A 640.
640 is the minimum credit score. Yes.
Where's your office located?
I'm on Magic Mountain Parkway at the corner of Turney, so in the Regis building, same office as Byron.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's your 10 minutes.
10 minutes. All right. Thanks, guys.